Well, Chris, it's always sad when you let somebody go from any business, but in sport, I suppose people look on it as maybe almost a ruthless decision. Do you see it like that?
Well, I wouldn't say it's ruthless, because clearly a lot of thought has gone into the decision. Andy is a good, honest man. He's a world-class coach, and he works really, really hard. So it's obviously sad when you have to part company with somebody like that. But in the end of the day, the results have not been acceptable. There's certainly some of the way we played doesn't give us the confidence that he would stay in this division. So the reality is, the second the board and shareholders lose confidence that we cannot stay up, then in honesty to everybody, you've got to make a decision, and that means usually changing the top person.
But it's less than 6 months ago when I remember the two of you sat on the top table after promotion, slapping one another on the back, shaking hands. It just shows how quickly sport moves on, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a results-based business. Obviously we were delighted to achieve our objective of getting in the Premiership. We set a 3-year plan. We did it. Maybe we should have done it a bit earlier, but we didn't. But we did it. And therefore, of course, we're delighted to be at this level. But now, having got here, we've got to stay here. So, we will do everything we can to do that.
Has it proved a lot harder than you expected then?
Yeah, I think so. We never underestimated how tough it is. The Premiership gets better and better every year. The quality of the teams, because I think this fear of relegation for everyone forces them to drive on and spend money and get better and better players, better and better coaches. So the quality is tremendous. But in the end of the day, we've got to come up with a way of beating people. We've got good players, we've got good coaches, so we have to work harder to get the results we need.
When you look back now on the 3-year contract Andy signed at the start of the season, does that look like a mistake now on your part?
No. Andy achieved his objective. It was only right that we should reward him to go forward, which we did. There's no point looking back. You can only look forward.
And Steve Lansdown was quoted not so long ago saying rugby wouldn't get like football, there wouldn't be a hire and fire mentality. So obviously there's been a lot of thought gone into this. How much has he been involved in the decision-making process? Well,
obviously he's the principal shareholder, so but this is a board decision which Steve's endorsed. This is nothing like football, and I actually think football, because we're involved with football. In the end of the day, you get to a point where you believe your head coach or your football manager or your rugby manager is not going to achieve your objective, then you may need to make a change. So that may happen more often in football, but the reality is it's about your confidence in the person's ability to get to where you are. Now, we are not questioning Andy's ability. This is a World Cup winning coach. He has absolutely the credentials, but we keep going back to this is a results-based business.
So how are you going to replace him? The search obviously on now, but I suggest that because you're maybe staring relegation in the face, it might not be so attractive a job to some people. They might not want to end up in the Championship.
We're extremely surprised. A number of people have put their hat in the ring. Some world-class coaches. And I think what they're seeing, you see, is they're not seeing that. They're seeing this as a chance to build a club to be something special. Because to be honest, if you go into one of the Leicester or Bath or Saracens, it's already established. So I think the attraction, a little bit like when we recruited Andy, actually, the attraction to build something into something special. Let's not forget, we have the best stadium in the country, the best rugby stadium in the country. We've got a wonderful support base. 14,000 at Sale. When we're struggling like we are, so a successful team here will get 25,000 people. So this is a real, we aspire to be Saracens, of course we do. They've got everything right, but they're playing to unbelievably small crowds because they don't have the supporter base. That's the key for us. So this is a rugby city, and I can't thank the supporters enough. They've stood behind this club through thick and thin, and they continue to.
Are the players good enough, Chris, or have you got too many players?
Well, in the end of the day, you get to where you are because of the position you're in. We have good players. They're Premiership quality players. Do we need more experience? Yes, of course. The results speak for themselves. So, you cannot hide behind any other reason than the results, and therefore we need to have players probably with some more experience.
And is that happening? Is that going to happen?
Yeah, we have signed. Obviously, Jason Woodward is an absolute top international quality player. He's here. He'll make a big difference. We have signed another international player that will be here in January. But again, we're not allowed to announce the name because he's contracted with his current club, and we're about to sign another top international player in the next 24 hours. So, and we will always continue to look for quality players.
So finally, the timescale on this. You've got a big Premiership derby at Bath coming up in less than 2 weeks' time. Might you have someone in place by then?
It's possible, but the reality is we're going to make sure we choose the right person. So we are now, having started today, we'll interview all the candidates who've thrown their names in the ring. We know of some people that we want to talk to. So we'll go through a proper exercise because this is, we want the person, who's going to be inclusive, develop a playing strategy that we can get behind, that we can work with, and we have confidence can get to our aim. And our aim is, in the short term, to stay in this league, then to move up into the top four, and then to get into Europe and ultimately win it. That's why Steve Lansdowne and I are doing this. We don't want to be struggling like we are now. Our ambition is much, much higher.